Well, I am Muslim. I am an immigrant, and interestingly, from Africa. Is anyone surprised that I am being targeted? Is anyone surprised that I am somehow deemed unworthy to speak about American foreign policy? Or that they see me as a powerful voice that needs to be silenced?
Breaking. Congress erupts as Republicans boot Ilhan Omar from the Foreign Affairs Committee, calling it retribution for her bold voice. But Omar, she's firing back with a speech that'll give you chills.
This debate today, it's about who gets to be an American. What opinions do we have to have to be counted as Americans? This is what this debate is about, Madam Speaker. There is this idea that you are a suspect if you are an immigrant, or if you are from certain parts of the world, or a certain skin tone, or a Muslim. It is no accident that members of the Republican Party accused the first Black president, Barack Obama, of being a secret Muslim. It is no accident that former President Donald Trump led a birther movement that falsely claimed he was born in Kenya. Because to them, falsely labeling the first and only President of the United States of America a Muslim and African immigrant somehow made him less American. Well, I am Muslim. I am an immigrant, and interestingly, from Africa. Is anyone surprised that I am being targeted? Is anyone surprised that I am somehow deemed unworthy to speak about American foreign policy? Or that they see me as a powerful voice that needs to be silenced? Frankly, it is expected, because when you push power, power pushes back. Representation matters. Continuing to expand our ideas of who is American and who can partake in the American experiment is a good thing. I am an American who was sent here, by her constituents to represent them in Congress, a refugee who survived the horrors of a civil war, someone who spent her childhood in a refugee camp, someone who knows what it means to have a shot at a better life here in the United States, and someone who believes in the American dream and the American possibility and the promise and the ability to participate in the democratic process. That is what this debate is about. There is an idea out there that I do not have objective decision-making because of who I am, where I come from, and my perspective. But I reject that. We say there is nothing objective about policymaking. We all inject our perspective, our point of views, our lived experiences, and the voices of our constituents. That's what democracy is about. So what is the work of the Foreign Affairs Committee? It is not to co-sign the stated foreign policy of whatever administration is in power. It's about oversight. It's to critique and to advocate for a better path forward. But most importantly, it is to make the myth that American foreign policy is intrinsically moral a reality. So I will continue to speak up because representation matters. I will continue to speak up for little kids who wonder who's speaking up for them. I will continue to speak up for families around the world who are seeking justice, whether they are displaced in refugee camps or they are hiding under their beds somewhere like I was, waiting for the bullets to stop. Because this child, survivor of war, would have wanted that. The 9-year-old me would be disappointed if I didn't talk about the victims of conflict, those that are experiencing unjust wars, atrocities, ethnic cleansing, occupation, or displacement like I did. They are looking to the international community and the United States, asking for help. They look to us because the international community and the United States profess the values of protecting human rights and upholding international law. So we owe it to them not to make this a myth, but a reality. I didn't come to Congress to be silent. I came to Congress to be their voice. And my leadership and voice will not be diminished if I am not on this committee for one term. My voice will get louder and stronger, and my leadership will be celebrated around the world as it has been. So take your vote or not. I am here to stay, and I am here to be a voice against harms around the world and advocate for a better world. I yield back.
We're zooming in on Rep. Ilhan Omar's blistering, unfiltered speech right before the Republican-led House yanked her from the Foreign Affairs Committee. This isn't some sleepy procedural. It's raw, it's personal, and it's a good check on racism, power, and who gets a seat at the table. Why? Republicans, led by firebrands like Rep. Nancy Mace and Rep. Corey Mills, are hauling out her 2019 comments on AIPAC as all about the Benjamins and her critiques of Israel's policies, labeling them anti-Semitic, a disgrace, even vile. It's not subtle. Mace calls it stoking division, dredging up old smears tying Omar to anti-American radicalism. Mills piles on, echoing the birther era playbook, implying her immigrant Muslim background taints her objectivity on foreign policy. Whispers from the backbench. Terrorist sympathizer. Echoes of the squad bashing that's dogged her since day one. It's interrogation theater. Personal, vicious, hitting her Somali roots, her hijab, her refugee scars like low blows in a no-holds-barred cage match. Omar steps up, unflinching, turning the floor into her arena. This debate today is about who gets to be an American. She opens, voice steady but laced with that signature fire. She doesn't dodge, she charges. No accident, she says, that Republicans smeared Barack Obama as a secret Muslim born in Kenya, fueled by none other than Donald Trump and his birther fever dream. Falsely labeling the first and only black president somehow made him less American. Boom, connecting dots from Obama to herself. I am Muslim. I am an immigrant, and interestingly, from Africa. The chamber freezes. Democrats nod. Republicans squirm. Is anyone surprised she's targeted? When you push power, power pushes back. It's poetry and protest, flipping the script on the very accusations lobbed at her. But here's the depth that hits like a freight train. Omar doesn't just defend, she indicts the whole rotten system. She's a refugee who fled Somalia's civil war at 8, spent 4 years in the Kenyan camp dodging famine and fear. Someone who knows what it means to have a shot at a better life here. Her constituents in Minnesota's 5th sent her to Congress not to toe the line, but to inject that lived hell into policy. And the committee, Foreign Affairs, isn't a rubber stamp club for whatever admin's in power. It's oversight, critique, turning America's moral foreign policy myth into reality. She rejects the suspect label for immigrants, Muslims, people of color. There is this idea that you are a suspect if you are an immigrant or from certain parts of the world or a certain skin tone. Representation matters, she thunders, expanding the American experiment to include voices like hers, not silencing them. A microcosm of America's soul search, free speech, or loyalty oaths. Immigrant dreams or native as walls. Omar's not just fighting for a gavel spot. She's battling for the idea that America's promise includes her story. Power pushed back hard, but she pushed harder, reminding us representation isn't optional, it's the experiment. In a divided house, her words echo. Who's really an American here? Omar's ousted, but is her voice silenced or just amplified? Sound off in the comments. What's your take on this American identity clash? Like, subscribe, and bell up for more unfiltered breakdowns.